Hey guys, how's it going? It's time for another update on Where Am I Now? The latest edition that you've seen, I've of course made it all the way across South Dakota, and the reason why I was going across South Dakota was so that I could visit Mount Rushmore. So I just think that is a really cool site with all the flags and then the monument in the background. It just looks really, really cool. I thought you guys should see it from this angle. Hello folks, and welcome to Mount Rushmore. I apologize for any wind on the mic. I didn't bring my cat to help reduce the wind noise. But as you can see, TM3 Life made it to Mount Rushmore. It's absolutely beautiful. On the way up here, there's a really neat bridge. There was a section where you drove through the mountain. They literally carved a tunnel through the mountain, which was kind of cool. They're going well, and next off we're off to Crazy Horse. We'll see how that is. I've heard that Crazy Horse makes Mount Rushmore look small, so we'll see. And then, of course, if you're going to visit Mount Rushmore, you gotta just pop on over and see the work being done at Crazy Horse. So after I left Crazy Horse, going through the Black Hills, heading out of South Dakota, it was crazy. I was able to see a bunch of devastation that was left by, obviously, a wildfire. And the odd thing about it was I've never seen a wildfire on a magnitude like this. The interesting thing about that was that, just like a lot of natural disasters, take a tornado for instance, it looked like it was interesting how there was some trees there that were perfectly fine, and then other trees right around it just completely burnt to a crisp. Like a tornado will touch down and hit this house and skip that one. So I just found that really interesting, and it was sad to see all that devastation. Another kudos and thumbs up to the autopilot. One of the huge advantages of having autopilot when you're traveling on a long trip is that you are able to enjoy the trip because you're able to look around and actually see the environments that you're driving through, and you're also able to pay more attention to things on the side of the road, especially when you're traveling through country, with deer and elk. And actually there was one place where I traveled through that had a sign that said, beware of the rams. Yeah, so because of that, I was able to spot a deer charging through the snow out of the woods while I was coming down the mountain leaving Crazy Horse, and I got him on the footage here. Saw him in plenty of time in order to, brake, and he changed his mind there at the last minute and darted back back up the hill. Worked again in a few other spots. Once I left South Dakota, I went into Wyoming. Hey everybody, it's a beautiful sunset in Gillette, Wyoming. And then into Montana and Idaho. And that was pretty much just an uphill climb, literally, just going up through the mountains. It's absolutely gorgeous country up through there. But again, it's a little bit of a range hog, when you're talking about, up. A lot of times there was the downs, and of course that's good for the range. There was interesting area just coming across the border into Washington State. So when I got into Washington State, it was just a continuous uphill climb. You know, it wasn't like a steep grade or anything, but I calculated on my trip computer, I was going uphill non-stop for 135.5 miles. I think there were a couple locations in there where it might have flattened out a little bit more, but there was no down at all for 135.5 miles. And then when the downs came, there was one down that was approximately 2 miles, and then a couple little small ones here and there. I don't know where the other 135 miles went of down, but that never happened. I went directly into Seattle. Really enjoyed Seattle, really nice city. And of course, we did the Space Needle. Hey folks, we're here. We're in Seattle, heading to see the Space Needle. See if we can get you guys a good look. Okay, we just bought our ticket. Right here, we're going up in the Space Needle. We're gonna check out some cool views. I'm not sure if I can videotape in there or not, but if I can, I will.
And we're 605 feet tall, 184 meters. That's about 52 floors. Looking out north here, this is Queen Anne Hill, Lake Union. That goes over to Lake Washington. You can see Mount Baker up there at the head of the Cascades. Those go all the way down to Mount Rainier in the south, downtown view. And the Olympic Mount Range off to the west there with Saltwater Puget Sound. You're more than welcome to stay all afternoon. We're open till 7, so we've got the cafe open for you. The outer deck is open. The lower level is where our glass floor is located, so head down there when you're ready. That's also where our exiting elevator will be going from. And just let us know if you have any questions. We've got beer and wine up here. Finish off adult beverages before you go down in the elevator.
Hey folks, we're up here. As the Strad man would say, views on views. Alright guys, check it out. I hope you can see what I'm seeing, or actually not seeing at the moment, but check it out. Now, I'm going to go ahead and be daring here, and I'm going to lean against this glass, which is tilted outwards. And hopefully you guys can get a view of that. That is cool. Leaning right against the glass at an angle at the top of the Space Needle. You don't do that every day. This is where all the ferry boats go back and forth from Grey's Anatomy that we always see. Alright, so we're on another side here. I just wanted to show you guys the mountain ranges in the background. Really nice. Covered in snow, of course. I don't miss that. So just trying to get you guys your 360 view of the entire city of Seattle. It's absolutely gorgeous here. Apparently they've got a cafe inside. We're gonna go ahead and check that out, see what they got for eats. Unfortunately, the glass floor that is normally rotating is still being worked on, so unfortunately that's not operational today, but it takes a full 45 minutes for the revolution to complete. So if you're sitting at the cafe eating, in 45 minutes time, you will have seen the entire city's 360-degree view. It's pretty awesome. Okay guys, so we're on the lower level. This is the section that has the rotating glass floor. I'm just walking around here, but if you look down, whoa. Glass is 10 layers thick, and there are 12 motors that make it turn. This is one of those motors. Basically a bunch of little cogs moving one huge, gigantic cog around in a circle. And again, this does the entire circle in 45 minutes. And has the same beautiful views, slanted glass. It's really cool. Okay, I've got my caramel macchiato. And I think I'm just gonna sit here and relax and enjoy the beautiful view of Seattle, because I have been on the road for 7 days, and I'm gonna take this time and enjoy myself. But we'll see you again real soon. We have a lot more to see. So that was a lot of fun. It was nice to be able to get the drone up. It's not that you couldn't do it, but they certainly frowned upon you doing it, because a lot of people have lost their drones and smashed them into the Space Needle and all kinds of stuff. But you know, it was a nice day. It wasn't too windy, so I said screw it. I went and I grabbed the drone, popped that baby open right next to where they do the valet parking at the Space Needle, right on the grass section there. And I launched that baby up there, and I was able to get just a little bit of footage. I'm sorry it wasn't better. I'm having a little bit of connectivity issue with the drone, with the camera, the drone, and then back to my phone. It just hasn't been working well. I'm gonna need to, I think, upgrade the drone to something better. I'm currently using a 3DR Solo, and it just doesn't work well a lot of the time. So I'll probably go to a DJI of some sort, Mavic or something, and a Mavic Pro probably, just so I can get something that's all in one. It doesn't have a separate camera and a separate gimbal and a separate this and a separate that, and just try to consolidate everything. A lot less moving parts, a lot less different pieces of equipment that are involved. So I'll be doing that, probably, and also something a little bit smaller, a little more nimble. But everything that I had done, it was complete manual flying for that drone flight, because I just couldn't get it to do some of the pre-programmed flights that I wanted it to do, just because it kept losing connection. So I was, 400 feet over Seattle, and it would lose connection and then fly back, and I'd have to start all over again, and then I'd lose my camera connection. It was just a nightmare. So I'm sorry, but that's all the footage I was able to get on the drone. But it was a lot of fun. And then, of course, I went down to the ferry, to the Edmond-Kingston ferry, went across into Kingston, Washington, and we made a special stop here. Alright guys, yep, gotta bow my head at this one a little bit. This is for all my watchers who may be Twilight fans. I bring to you Forks, Washington. But yeah, so it's kind of cool to be here. I wish it was daytime as opposed to nighttime, but it is what it is. I guess right now it makes it a little bit more spooky. Heck, for all we know, a pack of wolves is going to come out and maul me right in front of the camera. Now that would become viral, I'm sure. You bunch of sickos. We're gonna pack up and we're gonna move on, and we're gonna start heading up and around to, I believe it's Aberdeen, Washington, where we'll probably stop for the night, and then we'll be continuing on through Oregon and into California tomorrow. But I hope you all enjoyed this little theatrical event, just so we could actually come to Forks, Washington. Yeah, I know. Don't rag on me too bad. I don't mind sitting down and watching a movie like that with my wife. I do enjoy the movies, and going there was really cool. Unfortunately, it was nighttime. That is a beautiful drive when it's not nighttime. That road winds around the lake there, and it's absolutely gorgeous from what I understand from the locals. But I've got a schedule to keep, and I couldn't wait until morning to do that trip, unfortunately. But Forks is absolutely beautiful. So I basically circled up and around and came down into Aberdeen, Washington, and from there, you know, I'm gonna be heading right down into Fremont, California, and we're gonna do that Tesla tour. Well, sorry to cut that last video a little short there, but I think I had pretty much said what I needed to say. I'm gonna be starting a new segment in our videos, and that segment's gonna be called Snapple Facts. And essentially what that's gonna be is I'm gonna read you 2 facts from the bottom of a Snapple cap every episode, because I feel that everyone needs to learn something every day. And this is a great way to do that, and it won't take up much time. Let's go ahead and get started here. Fact number 1. Every ton of recycled paper saves about 17 trees. Second, and I think this is pretty much common knowledge, but not to everybody. So, an egg that is fresh will sink in water, whereas an egg that is stale will float. So that's something that I actually knew, and I'm sure a lot of you knew as well. But again, someone out there doesn't, and someone learned something new. So that's what this segment's going to be about. It's quick, it's easy, and it's over. And I appreciate you all hanging around for it, because it's going to be at the end of all the episodes. So if you just want to skip it and you don't want to learn anything, that's fine. You can skip to the end. Until our next episode, you all know what to do. Let's keep those batteries charged.